All right, so are you ready to dive into another deep dive?
Always.
Today we're tackling a horror classic, requested by you guys. Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yes. Jason and the Big Apple.
This time, Jason's treating Crystal Lake for the streets of New York City. This one picks up a year after Part 7.
Right, where we last left off.
And Jason is back, again.
Well, of course.
I mean, at this point, we all know he's basically immortal. But the way they bring him back to life this time around is truly something you just got to see to believe.
It really sets the tone for the entire film.
Okay, so walk us through it.
So picture this. You got this young couple out on a boat. They're at Crystal Lake, just enjoying a romantic evening, right? And all of a sudden, bam, an underwater power cable zaps Jason back to life.
Oh, and hold on. An underwater power cable.
Yeah.
Like, who leaves a live power cable just lying around under a lake?
Well, I mean, it's a Friday the 13th movie.
Okay, fair point. Logic isn't exactly their strong suit. But wait, there's more, right? Because doesn't he also find a brand new hockey mask on that same boat?
I think we can just chalk that up to movie magic.
Movie magic.
Yeah, look, the Friday the 13th franchise, it's never really been about logic or plausibility. It's about gruesome kills and giving the audience what they want. Jason Voorhees hacking and slashing his way through victims.
All right, so who are our victims this time around?
A group of graduating seniors. They're on their way to New York City for a class trip.
Oh, a class trip.
Yeah.
Where are they even going on a class trip to New York from?
I don't think they ever actually say.
That's convenient.
It is a horror movie after all.
Right.
Anyway, they're on this ship called the SS Lazarus.
Uh-oh. Maybe not the best name for a ship in this situation.
Yep.
And I'm guessing we've got our typical cast of characters.
Yep, the jock, the nerd, the popular girl, even a shy girl named Rennie who brings her dog Toby along.
A dog.
Yeah.
You bring a dog on a trip with Jason Voorhees on the loose.
It's like they're asking for trouble.
They're definitely not making it easy on themselves. All right, so it's classic horror movie setup. A bunch of teenagers.
Isolated, vulnerable, with a masked killer on the loose.
And a ship, which quickly turns into a floating death trap.
Right.
As Jason starts picking them off one by one.
Exactly, and some of the kills are pretty standard Friday the 13th fare.
Okay, but I'm guessing there are some that are a little bit more out there.
Oh, yeah.
You want to give us a few examples?
Well, there's JJ, the aspiring rocker. He gets electrocuted with his own guitar.
Okay, that's brutal.
Right. And then there's poor Tamara. She meets her end in the shower.
Oh.
It's a scene straight out of Psycho, but way more blood.
Well, that's an image I didn't need in my head, but honestly, those are the scenes that really make these movies, right?
I think that's what the filmmakers know the audience wants.
The over-the-top, shocking, gory moments.
Totally.
It's like they know how ridiculous it is.
I think they're totally in on the joke.
So things escalate, right? They can't stay trapped on the ship forever.
Right. A fire breaks out, forcing the remaining survivors to flee.
They escape in a lifeboat. But, I mean, how do you outrun Jason Voorhees in a lifeboat?
That's the question, isn't it?
He always finds a way.
Somehow, Jason follows them all the way to New York City.
He takes a boat.
They never explain how he does it.
So he just pops up in New York.
He does.
Jason's loose in the Big Apple.
Now things are about to get really interesting.
I can't wait to hear about this.
So, did you know this movie was almost entirely set in New York?
Really?
Yeah, the director, Rob Hedden, he had this vision of Jason rampaging through Times Square, stalking victims in Central Park.
No way. That's amazing.
Causing chaos on the subway.
Okay, now that's a movie I would pay to see.
Right.
Jason versus the crowds at Times Square.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate fish out of water story. So what happened?
Budget constraints.
Ah, the classic Hollywood story.
They could only afford a few days of shooting in New York.
So where do they film the rest of it?
Vancouver.
Vancouver pretending to be New York.
Happens all the time.
Well, I gotta say, I think they did a pretty good job of capturing the whole gritty urban atmosphere.
Yeah, those shots of Jason silhouetted against the city skyline, they're pretty iconic.
Totally agree. Those are some of the most memorable images from the movie. Even though we don't get the full Jason Takes Manhattan experience, I think they still managed to create that sense of unease by putting this like rural killing machine in this totally unfamiliar environment.
It's like the city itself becomes a character in the movie.
Almost like a reflection of Jason's internal chaos, you know?
Yeah, the bustling streets, the flashing lights, the noise.
And then you've got this silent, hulking figure just cutting through it all.
Such a stark contrast to those earlier films,
Mm.
where he was always lurking in the shadows of the woods.
Exactly. Here he's out in the open, but somehow even more menacing.
Oh, and we got to talk about Kane Hodder.
Oh yeah, Kane Hodder, the man is a legend.
He played Jason in this film and the three before it.
He brought such intensity to the role, didn't he?
Absolutely. He wasn't just wearing the mask. He embodied Jason Voorhees.
You could feel the rage in every step.
And did you know he did all his own stunts?
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean, Jason does some pretty insane stuff in this movie. I would not want to be anywhere near him, stunt double or not.
Speaking of insane stuff, this movie almost had a completely different ending.
Wait, seriously, what was it going to be?
Hedden wanted to end it with Jason being reborn as a child. Right?
Yeah, escaping into the sewers.
Like a baby Jason.
Yeah, it would have been a much more ambiguous ending.
Leaving it open for a sequel where baby Jason terrorizes New York.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's both terrifying and hilarious.
Right. But the studio execs weren't on board.
They didn't want baby Jason.
They wanted something more definitive.
So we got the toxic waste meltdown.
Yeah.
Which, let's be real, is still pretty messed up. Seeing Jason reduced to a screaming, melting child, not exactly a feel-good moment.
But it does tie back to his origin story, you know?
His childhood drowning in Crystal Lakes.
Full circle.
It's definitely a lot to process. It's not the ending Hedden wanted, but it's effective.
It sticks with you.
It does.
Okay. But enough about the ending. Overall, what'd you think of the movie? What's your final verdict?
It's a tough one. It's not the best Friday the 13th film.
It's definitely not the worst.
No, that's for sure. But it's definitely memorable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's got its flaws, like the pacing's a bit uneven, and the whole Jason Takes Manhattan thing. It feels a bit like bait and switch,
Yeah, I get that.
But it's also got some of the most creative kills. And that ending, it's pure nightmare fuel.
It really is. It's a flawed film. But it's fascinating.
It is.
It's like they were really trying to do something different with this one.
I think they were trying to push the boundaries of what a Friday the 13th movie could be.
And you got to respect that, even if it doesn't totally work.
Right.
At least it's not just another rehash.
Exactly.
They took Jason out of his comfort zone.
Dropped him in a whole new environment.
It definitely keeps things interesting.
For sure.
So for me, I give it a solid 3 out of 5 stars. It's a fun, gory, surprisingly thought-provoking ride.
I think I'd go a little higher.
Really?
Yeah, I'm thinking a 3.5 out of 5.
3.5. Okay, I like it.
It's definitely a film that gets better with repeat viewings.
It's true for a lot of these slasher films.
Yeah, you pick up on little details, the humor.
It's nods to the franchise.
Exactly.
Well, there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. What did you think? Did you love it? Hate it? Let us know in the comments below.
And while you're down there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives.
Hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. We're always exploring new topics and uncovering hidden gems. Kind of like Jason, unearthing victims in unexpected places.
Very clever.
Thank you. But seriously, we love hearing from you guys. Your comments help us shape the show, keep things interesting. And before we go, I want to leave you with a question. Jason Voorhees has been around for decades now. Countless sequels, reboots, even a crossover with Freddy Krueger. Why do you think he continues to fascinate us? What is it about this silent, unstoppable killing machine that keeps us coming back for more?
Is it the fear? The thrill? The undeniable campiness of it all?
Let us know your theories in the comments.
Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring.
And
remember, always check under the bed for hockey masks.
And if you see a guy in a boiler suit and a hockey mask, run.